Just testing, Brian Johnson, looking at the FT charts, superior charts, which is a time, and looking at the Pitbull Trader by OEST. So OEST is
anyone here?
So OEST is recommending that we immediately look at the two AUD JPY, the ADU, and we're looking at the fast action of what is happening now. As you notice, this account was, I'm using a demo account only, just to show you in demo. This account opened at a 5,000 balance back on, I showed you before, on the 18th of January. It's now up 17,000 from the 5, and there was a 12,000 profit. I haven't been trading that much on it, but anyway, we've got a little profit. So without much further ado, we're just looking at this Pitbull Trader, what's happening now, and you look at the AUD USD, they're all dropping down, and we'll just look at the 4-hour chart, and you can see the spacings on the 4-hour chart, the Furia with the arrows. When they have no arrows, it is possibly a false signal, but this has an arrow for a long, this one has now an arrow for a short in the 4-hour, and we look at the 15-minute frame, and it's confirming on there that it's a short. So using the OEST, one can have a look at these various things. The AUD USD is just starting to spring up again, and we can go back and have a look at it. But the thing for me is the trend for the day is close, so it's a short until we have a breakout of today's close. In other words, the price crosses the close by the fractional. You notice these two lines are the fractional lines. When it crosses a fractional line, it is a short. In here we have the square at the normal 3 setting, so that is a trading range, right? At this moment in the 15-minute frame, it can range. If it breaks that point, then there's a fractional past that point. These are the daily ranges that you can acquire just by putting on the H4. You can see that the time frames are pretty consistent in width, aren't they? So that you can say if this is a short now, the short may continue on until you get another signal and approximately the same period of time for the next time frame. It's simply a matter of looking at your time frames down here with the times when it was ended, when it was low, when it was out. That's in the bottom of this chart. Right down the very bottom you can see the red and the blue. The date there is a date and an entry time and the current trend time change, so that you can look back in the chart, and by simply minimizing this, we can look at the trend times at various periods, and generally it is reasonably accurate. There is no right or wrong way to trade the Forex, but this is using time for entry. So if you are entering now, and we'll just highlight a little bit, if you're entering now, you would think that you would have a reasonably long time frame before you got out, wouldn't you? Yeah? Based on past experience. Of course, in this market, anything is happening. You can see the current, it's probably a little unclear on this video, but the buy volume is at 13 and the sell volume is at 14,600. Also, you will note we'll try and just bring this up, and you will note that the volume, we'll just flip through here, and sorry, the basket is in the down range, but the basket volume is very low, 624 to 649. That means that really there's hardly any buyers and sellers, and the volatility won't be so high, and we like volatility. You can see that the range of 1.028 to the dollar here, and the high of 1.0337. It will take a while to get there when we have very low volume overall, but the buy and the sell volume on the Australian dollar is still a higher sell volume than the buy, which is also showing here. And you can look at the currency strengths. It's a very flat market. Okay, so we've just quickly gone over some of the time frames between the FFT blue mark and there is no arrow on the FT. Can you see that? I will highlight these arrows a little bit higher for you so that you can see the various settings here, and you will have to adjust them if you want to adjust to a particular time frame. We'll make that just 5 so that it will stand out. Okay. Hopefully you can see this on the video. The blue, there's none on there. It indicated, because there was no clear one, that this was on the red. It wasn't so clear, but it certainly wasn't down. The blue was showing an up, and the red now is showing down, and you can see it's just the start of the time frame. You are looking pretty good to go down to the fractional channel. This indicators I'm using are mainly indicators that were used by Slats, great FF trader, and in the 15-minute time frame you can see it is showing there is a good long, and one can look at the indicators, and we have a period converter on there, and the multiplier is 8, so it's showing both the mini LSR, MSR, I should put slats in, and the other MSR is showing here very tight. And at the moment, if you look at the closing price of today, the price is below the closing price of yesterday. So the trend is down, even though this blue arrow is showing up. I would not take a long position until it crossed the close of yesterday. I'm very cautious in my trading. It will show if it crosses a close here in the 4-hour and crosses the LSMA. It is a breakout of yesterday's close, and then of course I would go long. You can see the spacing from this. It is still showing there's a fair long time to go in the shorts, and until I got a confirmation and a time confirmation on the FFT, I would not personally go long, especially in these markets now. You can see just on the indicator here, the strength indicator is showing it's a very flat market, and it's confirmed by the total volume. Well, the Australian volume is a little bit better, but the overall trend, look at the overall trend as being down, and I tend to look at the various charts for a confirmation of the trend. You can see the Australian dollar here, this is a weekly, the daily, it's up, and the Australian dollar is right down the bottom. I would like to see it move up before into the center slot before I would even consider it. The basket offline is short, so even with all the indicators, I personally would not trade this long just right now, the Australian dollar. would not. And looking at the euro in the 4-hour, we're still showing a down market. You've got a slight swing up. It hasn't crossed the close. Until it crosses the close, I would not go long. You can see the time frame is a fair length of time before it's likely to have a major trend change, and that trend change will come in between these hours, and that was from the 10th of January back here to the 16th. Now it's certainly showing an overall short trend change. If we come back into the simple things, look how flat the market is. None. Why would you trade now? Okay, that's about all. I've just covered it briefly. Hope you enjoyed this. Bye for now from Brian.